Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. So, when you're right, you're right. I never really feel comfortable coming in here and tooting my own horn as it pertains to predictions because I've been wrong way too many times and I've misspoke way too many times. So you're gonna see me misspeak more than my predictions land. But I got another one. The Boston Celtics and Dennis Schröder are having communications at the moment, and that's all the information I have. This is the deal. That was the only place I could think of, y'all. It was the only place I could think of. There was no other place in the league that could incorporate him into their lineup, have the money to pay him in theory, and not be, depleting anything that they would want to keep or what have you. They have the role and they have the money. They're the only team. So I figured, I said in the video 2 days ago, I said, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember. But I said that, at some point in time, everyone's going to figure out that the Celtics are pretty much the only place you can go. I figured it out, but I didn't think that really the media was reporting it yet. I figured that the people behind the scenes could see it. It's clear as day. That's really the only place he could go, and I figured eventually we would get the news that I just read right now. Now, that doesn't mean that the Celtics are going to get him. It just means that that's the only place he could really go. Now, they could very well turn him away, and then we'll have to resign him for whatever we have. But for them, he would be an upgrade. They did just lose Kemba Walker, and right now they have a point guard in place, Marcus Smart, who's probably better not asked to run your offense at all. Even though he's pretty good assist man, he's a non-shooter, and behind him, they're a little thin at that point guard position. They like Kevin Pritchard, but he's not ready yet, I don't think. Dennis Schröder would step in and give them another offensive player to kind of keep in that role. And not only that, but I also could see that the Boston Celtics had lost Evan Fournier, and in theory would need to make up his offense somehow. They're a little thin because they didn't really do anything in free agency, unlike some of the other teams. And while another team that didn't do a whole lot was Portland, the last thing they needed was Dennis Schröder. He didn't fit. So for me, it just seemed like the Celtics would be a good situation. He's leaving one fantastic organization, going to another historic one. They're not going to suck. He's going to be playing with some real players. He'll fit in. He's not the answer to facilitate, but what they can do is trade him for somebody who will be at the deadline. So I'd imagine they'd do that. And he doesn't suck. That's the thing. People need to understand that there's just two different things going on here. Is one side of the game is it's viewing his value for what it is, which is plummeted. On the other side is evaluating the player, and the player's good. So like a lot of these situations, the guys can't find teams because they suck. This is one of those unique situations where that is definitely not the case. But it appears as if people have forgotten that because you know how people run with a narrative. And it's like, no, this is not a bad player. This is not somebody who you have to worry about. This is not somebody who's not going to be a addition to your team and kick butt. This was the runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year a year ago. Like, this is a real good basketball player who was going to make $84 million, who hasn't had any injuries since that very moment. The only thing that's happened is that his value has plummeted for a bunch of things that are being said about him that maybe were his idea, maybe not. So to me, he could be in a position to be as crazy as he looks, asking for all this, or he could just be a guy who's been given very, very bad advice by his representation and handled it poorly and not firing them. And I'm honestly inclined to believe that a little bit of both is going on there. I think that he really believed that he could make that kind of money. Maybe somebody put it in his head that he should aim for the moon and land amongst the stars. But in this climate, there's more to understand than just that simple concept. And his representation has to be able to lay that out flat for him to understand so that he doesn't do himself any damage. And that apparently, if the reports are true, was not done. So now as a result, the market is what it is, and he only has one place to go, and he's not going to get the money that he should have taken from the Lakers. So that's the situation. We've talked about it on this channel. You're going to see many videos where I've talked about that over the last several days. But we finally have a willing participant in the Dennis Schröder sweepstakes. And really, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a good signing for the Celtics. I think they're going to be very, very happy that they picked him up, especially given the fact that the teams around them got significantly better. When I was talking about the Knicks and I was thinking about some of the teams in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics were the worst one of them all. And they, to me, need to do something. Because you got a Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown. Those are two ascending superstar caliber players who are going to be looking around and saying, me and him are enough, but is everybody in this locker room going to be able to do what we need to do to keep us amongst the playoff hunt? And to be honest with you, they look like a play-in game tournament kind of team. Even though they have some good defensive anchors and some good offensive talent, a good balance between offense and defense, there still isn't enough depth there, in my opinion, to keep them above the Chicagos, the Brooklyns, obviously, the Milwaukee's, obviously, so on and so forth. So, yeah, does Dennis Schröder help with that? Dramatically, because he gives them another all-star caliber offensive weapon. And I know people don't want to say he's an all-star caliber weapon, but again, he was about to make $84 million. He's close to an all-star. Especially if you give him a good 38 minutes a game. He's going to be an efficient player on the offensive end. Now, he does have some deficiencies. He did not show up in the playoffs like you needed him to. I explained to you guys why I thought that was the case. He came out for COVID, came back, wasn't the same player. The team had been depleted. His role had changed. Some of the defensive anchors that were there to help mask some of his defensive deficiencies were gone, with AD being gone, and the team shuffled around as it was. So Dennis Schröder was exposed, but not necessarily because he fell off a cliff. He was in a slump, but the team had kind of been disrupted, and it sent his role into a bit of a flux, I guess you can say. So when you put him back in a good role, the thing I'll tell people about Dennis Schröder is, look at the first half of the season, and then look at the rest of his entire career. This is one of the more consistent point guards in basketball, like in terms of what he does and doing it every night. He's not greater than all these other guys, but he's as consistent as he needs to be somebody that you don't mind paying $84 million for 4 years. And that's the money he should be asking for next year if he plays his value up with whatever team he's on. But the opportunity is only going to be there for the Celtics, because if he comes to the Lakers, he's a weapon, but we don't need that weapon. We need the shooters that we have on this team to be shooting, and we need Westbrook to, of course, be down there as well. So Schröder's role is going to be significantly less than what it was last year as our starter. So, yeah, that's not what he wants to do going into another contract year. That's not it. When you get free agency opportunities, you can't blow them. That's just what we know. Not everybody has the leverage to pull some of the things that we've seen over the years from the super duper stars. And just you know, sometimes guys got it, some don't. He didn't have that this year. So here we are, waiting for the news. Let's see. If he goes to the Celtics, I would imagine they would have to send us something, because the whole point for us is to get a sign and trade. But at this point, I don't think we're getting anything substantial. It ain't. I heard somebody say, we're gonna get Marcus Smart. No, we're not getting Marcus Smart. That's salary. We're not gonna be able to bring back anything like that. But I can see us getting like a second round pick or something like that, and then a trade exception of like maybe $8 million or something. I don't know. But the whole trading him for Buddy Yield and all that doesn't seem realistic to me at all right now. It just doesn't. I think Sacramento probably would rather move Buddy in a different deal to Toronto to try to bring back a player that they're talking about getting to Siakam. So that might not be on the table anymore. But we have the shooters, so we're not necessarily needing Buddy's stuff, what he does. We need something else, to be honest. So that's what I think. And hopefully Dennis can find a home. Hopefully the Celtics will be that. My name is BDO44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.